Hi, my name is Fabrice de Miguel Wambel, and I'm here to talk to you about managing money. First of all, show of hands, how many people in here actually budget? All right, 2 people. All right, how many people give themselves a weekly allowance? It's 1 person. And how many people in here have no plan whatsoever when it comes to managing their money? It's the rest of you guys. I used to be one of you guys. I know how it feels like. But then at least of you actually living paycheck to paycheck if you don't be careful of managing your money. And this leads to problems, but before we talk about that, let's see how you can actually make money. To begin with, you can work part-time. You can this is when probably you get minimum wage like $7.25, and then you can begin working full-time. Those are 8-hour shifts, and you can get a job relating to your degree. You can become an entrepreneur. You can join the army, which they pay you and as well as for your education. And you can work through home. This is not as common, but still it can be used, but it's not as well known. So and scamming and other illegal means, which are basically drug dealing and other that you don't want to get into because the risk is pretty high. And also, the part-time jobs are specifically fast food restaurants like Chick-fil-A, McDonald's. These are good when you're starting off. This is high schooler jobs, late, probably when you're junior, senior year, trying to get some extra pocket money, starting to save up for, books in college. And fast food restaurants like McDonald's, and stores like Kroger and Walmart. And these are good to start off because, your parents are paying for everything. You're not paying for your food, your bills, they're all paying for that. They're all paying for it. But after that, when you start getting into college, into the degree you want to be in, you start looking for internships, and which would lead to an actual job with that company, whichever one you chose, based on your degree. And after that, after school, you start looking for a career, and this is when you start getting the big boy jobs, which pay $20 per hour, or if you are paid hourly. And to make the amount of money that you want, you gotta be good at it, have a passion for that skill. But also, a problem that you see is 70% of the 2013 graduates that left college left with an average of $28,400 in debt. And this is by the Institute of College Access and Success. And this is their 9th annual report on student loan debt. And this shows you how many people get in debt after they finish college and what they have to pay off. And this is just an average, so it's each person. Another problem is limiting your lifestyle. When you're in college, you tend to want to go out with friends and party, but in the end, it's best to save up for so you can start building your emergency fund and prepare for any catastrophe that might happen to you that's unexpected. And another thing some things you can do to get ready for later on in life are investing, such as in IRAs, traditional and Roth IRA. Those are two different. Traditional is when basically you invest, and you invest the money tax-free, but when you pull it out, you are taxed upon withdrawal of the funds later on. But Roth IRA, you put in the money that's already been taxed, but when you withdraw it, it's tax-free. So this is better for when you're expecting to have a high income, which will increase your income interest bracket, and this one is for basically the complete opposite. And I know 401ks is basically the version of the company is sponsored by your employer, depending on your company. And there are advantages. Basically, they match whatever you put in. So if most of them usually have a 3% matching contribution, which is if you put in say $1,500 out of say you make 50K, you put in 1,500 to invest, they match it with another 1,500. So you have to put in before they match for your 3% of your salary. But disadvantages is you can incur penalties for early withdrawal. And another one is Mutual funds. This is where you basically you give money to this guy, this stockbroker who invests for you in what he thinks is best to invest in. Or if you feel like you're financial savvy, you could do individual stocks. And these are just solutions that can help you like manage your money better. You can also budget. It's also nice to budget and have like a limit on what you spend for fun, you know? And this can help you stay out of debt and like start paying off debt better. And also, don't forget, pay your bills on time. You know, you don't want to avoid. You want to avoid penalties. And like I said before earlier, I stated that you want to establish an emergency fund. This is to like just in any scenario that might not be that might hit you financially, so you don't have a big shock. And gotta separate your wants from your needs. You know, gotta know what you actually need versus what you want. Also, this can what you'll start to see later on after you start implementing this is you'll start being able to go with your budget and like not spend as much. Like you'll start saying no to things that you want to say yes to, such as like, ooh, what's that nice dress in the shop right there? I want to buy that. And it'll help you stay debt free so that you don't overspend and start saving more money, as long as make money simply by interest through IRAs and mutual funds and all that other good stuff. And what I want you to get from this is basically if you are able to do this budget, the Roth IRA, you start looking at how money you control your money, you see where it's going. And doing this, you start like taking time. If you take time to plan and review your budget, you'll be fine. And something that's really suggested if you don't want to let money slip through your hands. And this has been my persuasive speech. Thank you for